Hey, it's Eagle once again, and today I'm going to give you an in-depth look at the next mech, the Warthog. The Warthog is the tankiest mech in the game, and is built to destroy everything from units to mechs. It carries a minigun, so moves slowly and isn't good at moving around units. Rather than units, it relies on abilities and power to get an advantage in the game. I'll quickly go over a general Hog loadout of units before getting into the rest of the guide. The Hog is a tank, so it doesn't really need to rely on other tanks to win outpost battles. That's why your units aren't a big deal for a Warthog. I took the generic Longhorn, Moneymaker, and Seeker for my tanks, sockets, and anti-air units. I took the Soldier for infantry because the Warthog actually can't carry 4 heavy infantry like the Jumper at early levels. I took the lighter Patcher for support because they are easy to carry, and I took Goliath as an endgame unit because the Hog is unmatched late game and floats a lot of credits usually, so you want a late game unit to help out with that if you're going to be playing a long game, which you should be when you're playing as the Warthog. I brought a Grinder because, like a Hog, it's great at breaking turtles or mid stalemates, and you can sit behind it and kill everything while the Grinder tanks the damage. I prefer mobile builds for the Warthog so I can micro as little as possible, so I don't usually take artillery. There are 3 distinct ways to play effectively as a Warthog: air domination, ground domination, and speed. Because they are so different, rather than compile them into one giant guide, I've made 3 different sections of this video going over how to play as each. So if you know what type you want to play as, you can skip to there, and I'll also have links in the description to those different times. If not, feel free to watch it all. If you decided to play the Hog because you saw its awesome minigun and wanted to rip things apart, this is the build you want to use. I've gone to the extreme, and I'll show you the parts in a minute, but you'll get the idea. This build is only for team games because you move so slowly, and preferably you'll be on a small map. So for abilities, you're going to want to unlock air to ground level 1, and max out your damage and ammo abilities before going to your spin-up, and of course unlock the ultimate shield ability at level 7. This build is all about damage, and the damage and ammo upgrades will help you kill more things faster. The air to ground ability is actually more useful for ground to air. So if you're shooting at something at a mech on the ground and then it transforms away, you can just shoot it ground to air to kill it off. Because you can't transform and chase it because you're so slow, so you really need that ground to air to finish it off when it tries to run away. All you should really be doing with this build is going to the front lines, shooting, killing things, and then going back to your outpost, recharge, and repeat. You can't really effectively micro harass, dogfight, or scout with this build. It's very specialized, but I promise you, with a tank like this on the front lines, you won't lose that mid-fight. Its effectiveness is doubled with Repair Guardians and an Osprey healing it. Try hard not to die because it will be costly and time consuming to respawn. So one strategy I would recommend is bringing a tank with you and then landing and shooting behind it, letting the tank the damage so that you won't die, and then you can easily run away before you die. And so I promise you, with this build, the other team won't be getting mid very easily. Alright, now we're going to go behind the scenes and look at the parts for your ground Warthog. So for a pilot, I would choose Beppo or Frank because these give you more armor and attack power, which you want on the ground to be a tank in mech form. Your item is pretty self-explanatory. You want the Chocolate Bunny because it gives some more armor. For Guardians, you're going to want the Repair Guardian so that you can be repaired on the ground so you won't die as quickly. Blaster Guardians aren't really necessary because you are already a tank and you have so much attack power already. Blaster Guardians won't really make much difference. Not as much as a Repair Guardian, at least. For cores, you don't really need the Warthog Quick Charge core because you shouldn't be going over your outpost to regenerate your energy too much since you're on the ground, so you don't really need extra recharge rate, and I would rather have a little more energy capacity so you can stay out on the field longer. Engines aren't really good for this type of gameplay, so I just chose the Advanced Engine since it gives a little bit of ground speed. So you could really choose whatever one you want though. And then, so we've got the weapon part and the structure part. So the weapon parts are going to give you more attack power just like your pilot, and the structure parts are going to give you more armor just like your pilot as well. So I chose the advanced minigun and the depleted uranium ammo. So these give plus 15% attack power together, and then you can pick and choose between any of your favorite armor parts. I just chose heavy chest armor and helmet armor, it doesn't really matter. And then there aren't really any good special parts because efficiency chip isn't really good for this playstyle, so I just chose my two generic ones of radar booster and inertial dampeners. So that's the behind the scenes of your ground Warthog. This is the most popular hog build these days, and I call it air domination. Basically what you do is fly and shoot. You do so much damage in the air, and your goal is to kill the enemy mechs while your team micros your units at the mid-fight, and the other team can't micro because they're dead. It's also good at micro and can do decent harass as well. For abilities, you really want all of the abilities for this build, so I would recommend upgrading even the XP ability. Get these abilities faster. They are all helpful for this type of gameplay because you're basically doing everything. So if you want to do everything in your mech as a hog, this would be a good build for you. You need to have some experience with dogfighting because it's hard to do well in a cumbersome mech like this. So you should just focus on getting in damage while avoiding getting hit. Lots of anti-air at the front lines will also help your objective. This build is kind of a cross between ground and speed domination, so it's useful if you don't want to go too extreme one way or the other, because it can fight well on the ground as well as in the air. So it's kind of your all-around build for your Warthog. Alright, now we're going to look at the behind the scenes for your air domination gameplay style. For pilots, you're either going to want Lexi or Alien, because you're going to want attack power to kill all the mechs in the air, and Alien also gives a lot of airspeed and transform speed, so if you're going to be transforming a little bit more in this type of gameplay, you want Alien, but if you just want to do damage, Lexi is fine. And then you're going to want the fluorescent light bulb for your item because it gives flight energy efficiency, so you don't have to recharge as much while you're flying around. And obviously you're going to want the energy guardian because then you can have more energy and don't have to recharge as much once again. I would choose the Warthog quick charge core for my core because you get more recharge rate, so you're going to be able to recharge a lot because you're always going to be in the air, so it doesn't really matter how much energy cap you have. And then obviously you're going to want blueprinted turbines for your engine because it gives more energy efficiency as well as airspeed. And then it's a toss-up between weapon parts. If you want to kill mechs more than have a little more speed, then you want these two weapon parts, but if you kind of want to just be quicker and not kill quite as quickly, then you don't need either of these, and you just leave these two blank. And then for the structure parts, you want alien metal for some airspeed and armor. And then the second one is kind of not necessary. There's not a great one to choose from. I have the boosted actuators, but you could also maybe have the lightweight chassis if you want. It does give a lot of negative damage resistance, however. And then you're going to want the efficiency chip for more flight energy efficiency once again, and inertial dampeners for more recharge rates when you're going over your outpost to recharge your energy and health. So that's it for the behind the scenes of the air domination Warthog. If you like the Hog's firepower but are put off by how slow it is or how bad it is at microing, then this is the build for you. It's built for speed so you can easily harass or scout while also being able to run away from almost any mech. It is a little more fragile, but it still has lots of damage and doesn't have any of the normal Hog drawbacks. For abilities, I recommend buying Air to Ground level 1, then get level 3 spin up before upgrading anything else. The Air to Ground is very effective for this build since you can fly so fast while shooting, so you can quickly pick off units or mechs. And the spin up speed allows you to move even faster while shooting. It has the ground speed of a Neo and can actually strafe to avoid fire while you're shooting, so it's pretty cool. You don't have to worry too much about low health, however, because it has a little bit less armor, but you can fly away and escape so quickly. I recommend lots of harassing and scouting in this build. The more I play with it, the more I like it, and I might actually make it my main Hog build. So if you want the strength of a Hog, but the speed of a Neo and the micro of an Osprey, then this is the build for you. I mean, look how fast it can carry even Goliath. So it's just really good at microing, but it can also kill units quickly as well, and even mechs. So I really like this build, and I think it's really balanced, even though it is built for speed. Alright, now let's look at the behind the scenes for your speed Warthog. For a pilot, you're obviously going to want Raven because she gives airspeed and ground speed. You could also have Alien because he gives some good speed for transform, ground, and air as well for your pilots. And then you're obviously going to want for your item Jingle Bells because it gives 5% more airspeed. And then you're going to want an Energy Guardian for your Guardian so that you can fly around longer without having to go back to your base and recharge up. And now let's go into parts. You're not going to want any power core, just a generic one, because you want as much energy capacity as possible to fly around. And then you can choose for your engine to have either more flight efficiency or more airspeed between the advanced engine and the blueprinted turbines. You're not going to want any weapon parts because these don't give any positive speed stats. And then for your structure parts, you're going to want servos and alien metal because these give great amounts of speed for ground, transform, and airspeed when combined together. Efficiency chip as well gives some good speed for just a little bit of energy negativity. And then radar booster, so when you're scouting around you don't have to go quite as far to see all your radar. And so that's pretty much it for your speed Warthog behind the scenes. Alright, the guide is finally over. I like to go in depth in my videos because it's not very useful to just do an overview of things that are pretty self-explanatory. I hope you found a Warthog gameplay that suits your playstyle. It's a very good mech if you take the time to learn how to use it right. That's all for this video. If you guys liked it, please be sure to like and subscribe. Refer me in-game if you're new, and watch my other tutorials and commentaries. So that I'll see you guys all later.